My name is Renee Pride, and I've been working for the Cleveland Public Library for 30 years. I started as a clerk in the newspaper room. I didn't know the preservation department existed. It wasn't until I got a job as a clerk in the department and I was able to learn about paper and book conservation. Different conservators and speakers came and gave workshops in the library, and I was able to learn about it and get the position. Every book is different. Everything that I do is different.
My name is Elizabeth Bardosi. I've been working at the Cleveland Public Library since 1981. I started as a page and then I became a clerk typist, and an opportunity came up to become a clerk typist in a new department that was being developed. We were just staffing it with 2 people at first. It was myself and my boss, so it was fairly cutting edge at the time. But we made our way, and eventually we had more staff that came into the department as well. As our skill sets grew and the scope of the materials that we worked on grew, so did the department as well. I've worked on some very large materials that were maybe 10 feet long, maps and such. Worked on things that were from the 1800s, which was kind of interesting to see because the paper in those materials tends to be a lot better than paper that you see from the early 20th century, which just tends to be rather brittle and yellowed. So it's just interesting to note that something that's so much older can be in much better condition, but that's due to the fact of how it was created originally. Our goal when we have this preservation lab is to make sure that the materials that we work on will become usable and therefore accessible. If they are not usable, if they're falling apart, if the materials are torn or brittle, the patrons can't use the materials because they will have to either be put aside as reference or simply not used at all. There's hardly anything that really cannot be repaired. Most things can be at least stabilized. And so whether we change it by repairing it, putting it into a new format, that makes the items accessible, whether it's in a book format or prepping it for a digital format. There are some professional conservation programs throughout the United States. Unfortunately, there is nothing here in Ohio, but they are at a master's degree level. You can choose the track that you would like to follow, whether it be, for instance, if you want to be a book and paper conservator or a paintings conservator, objects conservator, or textiles conservator, and you follow that track. And then after that, you would do some kind of a practicum, go out into the field, whether you end up working for a museum or a library, historical society, or wherever the job would take you.